My name is Kenyatta Ridley, and I teach at Ben L. Smith High School. This is my 15th year teaching, and I am currently teaching Common Core Geometry. I have a class of 16 students, all in the 10th, 11th, or 12th grade. I have 3 students that are English language learners and 2 students that are identified as having a learning disability. These are your questions are beneficial for myself and for the students. It keeps, first of all, it keeps me on target on what exactly I am covering and what is my goal for that day or for that lesson. Sometimes we can answer an essential question in one day. Sometimes it takes us longer to answer the question. For the students, I think first of all, they know when they come in class what we're doing for that day. Even if they don't quite understand it, they kind of have an idea of what we're learning that day. And by the end, most of them are going to have a good sense of satisfaction when they can answer that question and honestly say, yes, I know how to do that, I can do that. So it's good to see that satisfaction. All right, so everything that we do today is going to be revolving around what? Angles. Okay. So we are going to make sure that everyone knows all the different relationships that are created by intersecting lines. Okay. And when we have lines that intersect, they create angles. And there are special angles that we're going to talk about today and explore. Okay. As you saw, I always try to ask at the beginning of the lesson, what do they know about it? And so we did it at the beginning. What angles do you already know? Have you heard before? And that does give me a sense of what do I need to spend more time on? And where can I kind of maybe go a little bit quicker here? In this class, I would say maybe half of them actually took a foundations to geometry class, and so they know a little bit more than some of the other students, and I use that to my advantage. I will pair them up sometimes, and then they can share their knowledge. Well, I learned this in my previous class, I know this already, and then they can teach each other, especially when students are absent. Then those that were here, then I'll let them explain. And that's also helping them comprehend. Of course, we know if you can explain it to someone, then you definitely have it yourself. The foldables, if someone's absent, then they know when they come in, they have to get with someone else and they have to catch up on their foldable. So there's someone there to explain all of those vocabulary words to them. Vertical angles. Heard that one before? Yeah. After vertical angles, we're going to have complementary angles. Alternate interior angles. So, first question before we go to lunch. Do you know any of these words?
Yep.
Which ones?
Linear pair.
Linear pair. What do you know about it? Just heard it before?
No, I know it's like I forgot.
I know complementary and supplementary. Okay. All right. Vertical angles up here, Rosa. What you know about them?
They're both the same. Straight across.
Okay, straight across from each other. She said they're both the same. The same what? The same angle measurement. Josh.
I know about vertical lines.
Vertical angle. What you know about them? Straight. What you mean straight? Like a marker? Josh, complementary and supplementary.
One is to equal up to like one angle equals up to 180.
Which one is that?
I think that's supplementary.
Okay.
And complementary is when it equals up to 90.
Okay. Wonderful. Anybody know anything else? Alternate interior and exterior and stuff?
And alternate exterior when they're on the outside of the
Okay, so we know interior means inside, exterior means
outside,
and alternate means
like alternative.
Okay, so what does that mean?
Like if you're not something that you can I know what it is. I just don't know how to explain
It's kind of like on the opposite side. So alternate interior are going to be opposite sides but inside. Alternate exterior, opposite sides but outside. Okay? Anything else before lunch? So when we come back, we're going to kind of go through some of these words, give you some definitions, and you all are going to be creating some things for me today.
Definitely knowing their background for English language learners, where they are with their English, what level are they on, how much do they really understand. In the very beginning of the semester, I did find out what language they all spoke. I was very fortunate here where all of my English language learners speak the same language. They all speak Spanish, so that's well, they can conversate, and I told them that from the beginning, they can conversate with each other in Spanish as long as it's dealing with math, and try to get each other to understand. You just have to know your students, know their learning styles. I know that especially my guys like hands-on. They're not the best at taking notes. It's not going to be complete. So you try to, my definitions are very short, as short as I can possibly make them. So it's the least amount of words so they can understand and process the information as quick as possible.
What's the name of our unit?
Angles.
Okay, so we have our reasoning vocabulary. Now we need our angle vocabulary. 12 cards. The exact same way we did the reasoning vocabulary. Okay?
Any marker? The one you like to
The definition that I would use, very simple, very basic. Vertical angles are angles that are across from each other, and they have the same measure, which means that the two angles are what? Congruent. Complementary, real quick, complementary. Definition? Somebody knew it earlier.
I did.
What you got for me?
This one, you bisect an angle and it equals up to 90 degrees.
Okay, so I'm going to say it's when two or more angles add to equal 90 degrees. Okay. So we know if something is 90 degrees, then what's another word for it?
Right angle.
It's a right angle. So if I'm complementary, if I take a right angle and I actually, like you said, bisect, but not really bisect. If I cut it up into pieces, okay? I have a right angle,
So if you
and
dissect.
then if I throw another line in here, so now I have two angles, right?
Mm-hmm.
But these two angles have to equal
90.
90 degrees together. They have to add up. This might be 60, and that would mean this one is 30. What if this one is 10?
Then the other one is 80.
Then that one would have to be 80. Is everybody with me?
I do definitely believe in scaffolding. So every test, every assessment that I do is cumulative, and so they know that they have to remember all of this information. They know that the final exam is cumulative and everything will be on there. And that's one of the reasons why we created the folders and we keep them in class. So that if you're taking an assessment, it doesn't matter if it's on Unit 5. If there's something on there from Unit 1, go get your Unit 1 folder and look it up and refresh your memory. And my thoughts behind that is, if you're looking at it and you're reading it and you're applying it, by the end of the semester, you're going to remember most of this material. You're going to remember picking up that folder and looking at the foldable that's inside, and you're going to remember what's there. So I don't have a problem with them using it the entire semester. The scaffolding is also about making connections. Everything with geometry builds on each other, and I'm trying to do a better job making those connections for them and then connecting it to real world. Why do you need to know this? What is it good for?
And then we talked about what? Oh, counterexample. What's a counterexample?
An example that proves the condition is false.
An example that proves that it is false. Truth value.
True or false?
Just when you say if the statement is true or false. And a biconditional.
When the conditional and the converse are both true.
Okay. Wonderful. So yesterday, I know your activity yesterday. Can somebody tell me what their conditional statement was that you created yourself? India, tell me what yours was.
If you jump too high, you'll fall off the trampoline.
If you jump too
then
high.
you will fall off.
Okay, thank you. Yes, wonderful. If you jump too high, then you will fall
Off the trampoline.
off the trampoline. Okay? Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Josh?
Mine was if you're very tall, then you're good at basketball.
If you are very tall, then you are good at basketball. What's the truth value for that? What's the truth value for Josh?
He's trash.
Oh, if you really
It's
a Down syndrome boy is good.
False.
So the truth value is that sentence true or false?
False.
It's false. Why?
Because short basketball players are good too.
It's an
Okay.
opinion.
It is an opinion. There are some short basketball players that are very good. There are some tall people that
Are not good.
are not good at basketball. Okay?
I think it's very important that students help each other. We have always been taught and we always hear that how I explain it may not be exactly what the student hears or comprehends. Someone else may need to say it just a little bit differently to get through to that student. And I encourage interaction. When you have especially larger classes, you really need the interaction because you can't get around to all of those students and answer their questions and get them on the right path, and they need each other. And I really encourage that at every level. When you get to college, then you're going to have to form your own study groups, and you're going to have to ask other people for questions because your professor is not always going to be there for your answers. And I tell the students this and try to get them ready for the next level of their schooling, of their education. This class, I'm very lucky that they will respond to me and they will talk to me. They ask great questions. They give me a lot to work with because I know they will respond. Someone will talk if no one else will. Someone will say something. So it's wonderful.
So here are my 4 angles, 2, 3, 6, 7.
That's a measurement?
No, those are just angle numbers. So I'm going to make angle 7 equal 87. Find the other 3 angles by yourself or with your partner quietly. A number. Are they 40? Are they 100? Are they 87?
They're 40-something.
Figuring it out. That's what I want you to do. You got them?
Entonces, ¿qué haces?
Yeah, we can't do that in here.
You talk about it. Now please go put it up on the board as well.
Tell them about it.
Can I do it the way was it?
It's really, I asked first.
What did you do?
Ladies first.
Ladies first.
87, 93,
Miras como
94.
ese es 87.
You minus 1. You minus
No, yo sé, pero miras
87,
como ese
88,
es 87,
93.
¿verdad?
And then those sides of the
Y en
cross will be
este
87 on the
hace
opposite
Or
side.
just add 3 to 87 and then you get 3 and
Entonces,
then you add to 90 because it has to be a 90.
Entonces,
Multiple approaches is something that I've definitely learned a lot about over the last year in grad school. But it's something that teachers, I think, kind of shy away from, and we need to encourage it more. Every student thinks differently, and we need to find out what their thinking process is and encourage that thinking process. It's different, but it's right. And I'd say that so often in my classroom. Just because it's different doesn't mean it's wrong. And I asked several times, did anybody do this a different way? And they need to know that these problems can be approached in many different ways, and that there are different representations for it, and they're all the same thing. And it's okay. It is definitely okay. And that was another reason why I did them modeling the pictures, because sometimes I model the same way all the time, and I need for them to know that these angles can look different. They're going to be presented in different ways in pictures. And so that's why I showed two pictures, looked completely different, but were they both a good example of supplementary angles? Yes, they were. So I think that was very good with how some of the students did their angles today.
All right, we're gonna stick to two. You can do popsicle sticks or straws. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna give you both. Figure it out. Take your construction paper, take your straw or sticks, and I want you to model some angles that we talked about. Create some angles that we talked about. Okay, whichever one you want to use. You can mix and match them together if you like. You can cut the straws, make them shorter, whatever you like. So model for me what vertical angles look like, or model for me what complementary angles look like, or supplementary angles, okay? I want two of them. I want you to look up here for a minute. I have a supplementary here and a supplementary here. Are they both examples of supplementary?
Yes.
Yes, they know that.
One's a stick. Two sticks together. One's a supplementary and a complementary. Because there's right angles in this one and this one.
Wait, so
Am I wrong?
this is a
Like,
compliment.
brother and I second guess myself.
I mean,
Are
but
these
it's a
both
complementary
examples of
and a
supplementary?
stick.
I would just say, try new things, try your graphic organizers, try any type of foldable. Go outside what we consider maybe the box, what the norms are. I've found the crazier what we think it is, the more the students respond to it, enjoy it, and benefit from it. So just try different things, try new things. Everything is not going to work, and that's okay. Just adjust from there. But the results will come when you get them engaged with each other, with you, when the discussions happen. Just try to make your classroom as student-centered as possible.